Hello, everyone. Welcome. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Want to say thank you for taking the time to join us today. Sorry, we ran 1 minute late. We are having some technical difficulties, so this could be an interesting presentation, but we'll see how the next 10 minutes or so goes. But wanted to say hello. Puppet, of course, hanging out behind me as he always is, sleeping one off from last night. He was overserved both on drinks and the appetizers. He had way too many appetizers. Pavarotti, what a singer. Greetings from Cruise Brothers in New York City. Good to have you with us, Pavarotti. Welcome to the show. Love it. Sitka, Alaska. All right, Canvas Travel Agency. Is it snowing there yet? I'm kidding. It's not snowing there. Beautiful Alaska. We're still sailing there. We got a couple more weeks of cruises on the Majestic Princess. We don't call it a Sitka, but we get pretty close. Nancy from Las Vegas, sunny Las Vegas. Lost Wages. Have you ever heard that one? No, that's new. It's only going to be, let me see, 93 here today. I'm guessing 193 in Las Vegas. Where else are people calling in from? And oh, by the way, don't forget, most importantly, got to rate the hair. Let me know how the hair is looking today. Geraldine from New Jersey. Hope all is well with you. Nice and humid there in New Jersey. Ken from his acupuncturist office in Lima, Peru. Nice to know. Let me tell you, I think it'd be cheaper if I flew there and paid that fee than what it cost me to get an acupuncture appointment here in the city of Angels. Welcome, Ken. And Roxanne, howdy from Oklahoma. Roxanne, good to see you again. You are a frequent member of our events. We thank you for joining again. Chris, hola from Puerto Vallarta, Mexico. Welcome, Chris. Not one S, but two, and then with a Z on the first letter of the last name. That's good. That's a lot of to spell out. Ileana Weingart from Orange County. Hello. Welcome to the show. Nova Scotia. All right, Denise from Nova Scotia. Thank you for joining. And as always, we give it a couple minutes. That's why we're going through where everybody's from. Honestly, I enjoy hearing where you're from. But for those that are impatient, saying get on with the show, this way people get to stream in, whether you're on Facebook Live or whether you are on the tube of you, also known as YouTube. Welcome to the show. Okay, so let's dive right in. Thank you for that, and welcome. As always, keep calm. I'm rocking the shirt as I always am. I've got about 100 of these. I think I might need to go to a double XL because putting on some weight. Maybe that's too much to share. I just want to say that we, of course, as always, if you're on Facebook and you need the transcription services, click on the captioning at the bottom of the screen and you will get to see those, which is very helpful. And as always, please stick around. We're going to do Q&A at the very end of the show. And those are pre-submitted questions, so thank you for those, as well as any questions we get live that we're not able to answer during the event. So just stick around for that. As always, I am John Chernesky, and you may have seen some pictures of me with my lovely family traveling the world, and we are so spoiled because, well, we've done a lot of cool trips. My kids are spoiled. I'm spoiled. We're all spoiled, and travel is just so great. And I'm going to show a couple pictures coming up from my recent trip to Alaska. But as you can see a couple there on the top left especially, it is such a special place. And travel in general, it's so nice to get back out there. And I know you are all anxious for you and your clients to do the same. And I truly believe the sun is shining, the clouds are parting. We've unfortunately had to, as we're getting through this, right, we're still having to cancel and reschedule certain trips. Like we had to reschedule the ships that were going to Hawaii through the end of this year. Unfortunately, our world cruise for next year, we had to pause that. And these things are unfortunate, but I think the overall message is that we've got even more ships coming in the water. I'm actually going to be on board our Grand Princess next week in Los Angeles, as we're basically putting the ship through kind of a test period to make sure all the protocols are working. The ship is ready to go before we welcome actual guests. So I will be a guinea pig, eating and drinking to my heart's content to help the ship get ready. So I'll see maybe if I can do a Facebook Live from the ship next week. That might be fun or not, depending on your definition of fun. But I do want to say, speaking of fun, look at this photograph. So this is actually, I did not take this as I was on the ship. You can actually see we were on the balcony just below the bridge wing there. And this was in, of course, Glacier Bay. This is Marjorie Glacier. I would say it's the highlight of Glacier Bay, but there's so many highlights of Glacier Bay. It's kind of hard to pick one. Beautiful sunny day. Stunning opportunity to once again go to Glacier Bay. I was so lucky. And during our trip to Alaska, as you hopefully knew, I was on the Majestic Princess. We did this trip, which is now my favorite shore excursion I've ever done on any Princess cruise, which is saying something because I've done some amazing trips. A helicopter trip out to the Mendenhall Glacier. We were suited up with helmets and harnesses and ice axes and crampons, those spiky metal things you put on the bottom of your boots so you don't slip on the ice. And we spent 2 hours doing some alpine mountaineering. The guide was very complimentary, and he said, "You guys were so good, we were able to do some stuff other folks may not be able to do." And thankfully, we didn't fall in the water because, trust me, it is not very warm. So that was a great day. And then same day, who knew whales could fly, right? I got this picture. I'm going to keep showing this for the next 30 years because I was so lucky to capture this photo of Bolt, the baby humpback whale, showing off and proving that whales can actually fly and jump out of the water. So I got very lucky, to say the least. Okay, well, that is just, I said a couple pictures and I meant it. I'm not going to show you 84 pictures, which I could easily do. We are here today to talk about not Alaska in terms of my trip, but cruise tours and how you book those using Polar. So thanks for joining in. But I want to talk first about the health and safety protocols because we are getting, well, this is very dynamic, right? It changes very rapidly. And I want to thank you for all that you do to stay abreast of all these updates because it is not easy. I get it. But you do an amazing job of keeping your clients up to date. And I want to walk through some of the highlights real quick. So vaccination requirements has not changed. For the end of this year, all of our sailings to the end of this year, we require that the guests and crew are vaccinated per CDC guidance. So we're operating these as vaccinated cruises. And the vaccination rates are approaching 100% of the ship. It's very close. And the reason we are not at 100% is because we are complying with those that have a medical exemption or religious exemption. So we're trying to be in compliance with those rules. But trust me, the numbers are very close to 100%, and it varies based on the cruise. But it is always very close to that number. And of course, you have to have that final dose within 2 weeks. And then, of course, there's all sorts of enhanced safety protocols. And the ship has done such an amazing job. Our medical centers have always been best in class, and they're even better now with the training and the access that they have to all the insights and learnings of the medical community. So I also want to mention that we have extended the pre-cruise testing requirement through the end of this year. And so we're just doing everything we can. Really, it started with this term abundance of caution. We're doing everything we can. And now the CDC is saying, yes, this is a great practice and you need to continue doing this. And instead of 3 days, it's now 2 days. And so it's not 48 hours, it's 2 days. And if you go to the website, I'm going to show you in just a second, it'll give you the types of tests that are accepted, but just know they are, the rapid test is fine, the rapid antigen, PCR if you get the results back in time, and you have to show that proof of vaccination when you get to the terminal. So this is very important that we've reduced this down to 2 days and that the policy is now extended for all sailings through the end of this year. Now we've done, we had an announcement last week, I believe, in terms of our partnership with Quest Diagnostics. We've partnered with them. There's over 1,500 locations throughout the US. Very easy, go to the website, fill it in. I've done it. It's answer a few questions and schedule your appointment and off you go. It's no cost. And so that partnership is certainly helpful. And we're working on even more partnerships because we know that Quest isn't available in Canada. There may be certain areas of the country where they don't have a good presence. So just know that if you go to your CVS or your Walgreens or wherever to get that test done, that is totally fine. It doesn't really matter where you get the test done as long as you get it done. So the 2 days, let's give an example. Let's say you're embarking the ship on a Sunday. That means you could get the test done on Sunday. You could get it done on Saturday, or you could get it done on Friday. Friday is the earliest date that you could get it done. I mean, in theory, you could get it done at 1 a.m. On Friday, and that would still work. So that's the window of time that you have, okay? Now, we also have just announced that we are having these at-home COVID-19 test kits available. We partnered with Optum for that. And so you can order these tests, you get them shipped to your home within 3 business days or less. And then there's a video supervised test that you have to go through to verify it. And the results are done within 15 minutes. Now, they get the results via email, and then you bring that on your phone to the terminal and off you go. There is a charge for that, so it's just under $69.99, $70 for 2 tests. And so this is something I would recommend for those folks that may have limited access in their home, they are in their hometown, they may be traveling, whatever the circumstance might be, if you want to pay a little extra and get this done, and for convenience factor, go for it. We have this now available. Okay, so that is pretty cool. We do have limited testing in the terminal. So if something happens and I don't know, you didn't get the results back in time, let's say, you can get tested at the terminals. I'm not recommending everybody does that because just the number of people that we'd have to process, but it's just, I would call it a safety net that it is available. And same thing for those that are flying home. Maybe you're going to Canada and you need to get a test to prove it. We can get that done for you at the terminal when you disembark. So just make sure to schedule your return flight to give yourself enough time. Don't take the first flight out that morning because you do need to give some time to let that process. All right. And then the mask requirement. So we've had this in place for several weeks now, and we are continuing this through, again, the end of the year. They're in select areas on board. You know, if you're in the theater, you're in the boutiques, you're in the casino, you're walking into the dining room, you need to wear it, and then take it off, obviously, when you're sitting at the table. And this, again, is similar to many of where you live, depending on where you live, of course. But this, again, is doing everything we can to help avoid the spread. And our crew wear masks all day. So they are always wearing masks and doing what they can to avoid any spread, because we know with the Delta variant, even if you're vaccinated, you can still have it and you can still spread it. So that is the why behind that. Okay, so the website that you should go to, in case you don't already know, you can see here, princess.com/cruise health FAQ. And there are tons of FAQs, questions that you might have. And so you can filter through, and we show you where they're updated, meaning if there's something new that's been changed, any revision or updates will highlight that as updated. So that makes it easy. So you don't have to scroll through everything and see what may have changed. Okay. And I also want to mention that our Cruise with Confidence program, which we've introduced over a year ago, includes Book with Confidence. This allows you, if you need to change your plans, you must say you've made final payment, something happens, or you're just not certain, or maybe you've tested positive and you want to change your plans, 30 days prior to your cruise, you will get any cancellation fees associated back as a future cruise credit, which is pretty cool. And we've extended this through the end of this year. So for bookings made through the end of this year, for sailings through the end of April of next year. So that is in place now. And as always, we include COVID protection. So if within 30 days, let's say a week before, or you've done your test 2 days prior and you get a positive result, you're like, oh my gosh, I can't go on my cruise now. We will refund all the monies that you've paid back to an FCC if something should happen within that window. Basically, we don't want sick people showing up to the ship and feeling like, oh, I just need to get my money's worth and hopefully they won't notice. Please stay home. We're going to get you covered. You're not going to lose your money. It is a pretty great policy, and we are pleased that we've extended it through the end of this year. All right, that is that for health and safety. We're here to talk about the power, the mighty power of Polar Online and how to book a cruise tour. But let's first get an understanding of kind of where you're at. Let's take a little survey, if you don't mind. And I think this is only in Facebook. For those on YouTube, I don't think you can take the survey. So apologies there. Talk to the guys at YouTube about that if you can. But the Facebook survey is up, and here we're just going to see what is your knowledge and familiarity with this. And after I've introduced our special co-presenters, we'll show you the results. So please take the survey if you can. And speaking of my special co-presenters, I am very pleased to introduce, first up, Dana McCullough, once again, back to the show. Welcome, Dana.
Good morning, John.
Good morning, and thank you again for being here. Love the photographs. Awesome pooches. I assume those are not yours. Those are sled dogs.
Sled dogs on a shore excursion. Yes, they're wonderful. Beautiful
Awesome.
dogs.
Awesome. A couple shots of you and your boyfriend. And yeah. And on the right, I recognize that familiar face.
Yes. So that is Betsy Sullivan, who is retired. And then on the top between our two heads there is Corey Segmiller, who is a current BDM with us in Northern California.
And that's just Corey standing up, and you guys are standing up, so it's
pretty
perfect.
much. She's very tall.
Oh, it's so good to see Betsy's face again. And when she retired, I asked let me know if you need an assistant. So great to see Betsy's smiling face once again. All right, Dana, welcome to the show. And then I also want to bring in Selena. Welcome, Selena.
Hello.
Good to have you back with us. And pictures of you and your lovely family, of course, on the very top there. I love that photograph. I'm pretty sure that is the Hudson River. No? Where is that?
Gosh, where were we? I think it was in St. Thomas. It was St.
Oh,
Thomas.
okay. It looks pretty. Smiling kids, you've got the dolphin encounter, you've got Christmas. I love it. So welcome. Now, Selena, give me the thumbs up. How are we looking good or no for as we get into this presentation?
Yeah, I think so. I think we're up and running.
All right, good.
So, fingers
Good.
crossed.
Okay. So now, Dana, I'm still going to show all the slides. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. We've had some, the presentation's done. Our issues were getting this shown on the webinar in terms of, normally all of us can share our screen, and it's pretty slick how we can decide behind the scenes. Joe is the master of puppets behind the screen that can decide who's showing what. But I'm going to show my screen for the presentation, and then hopefully Selena's system works to actually get live into Polar. But with that, let's talk about being a destination leader. Dana, I think it's over to you. Oh, no, before we do that, sorry. Yeah, show the results there, Joe. Sorry, I forgot to show the survey results. Let's see where people land. All right, 4% think you're a genius. Okay, smarty pants. And listen, the fact you think you're a genius and you're still here, I love that. You can always learn more, right? 42% think they have a solid grasp. 42% very basic. 12%, this is the John Chernesky category, deer in the headlights. So perfect. Okay, so 4, 42, 42, and 12. Let's see how we do. No pressure, ladies, over the next 6 hours as we go through this training. All right, so sorry, destination leader. I forgot we haven't covered that. Dana.
Yeah, wonderful. Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for being here. So as all of you know, we are the destination leader. We have long-standing relationships with the ports that we visit all over the world. We also do handcraft our experiences, which gives you customized itineraries for your guests to experience the very best of that region. And as far as experts, we have people that have been with us 20, 25, 30 plus years. So they know the product and they know exactly what they're doing to give your clients the absolute best experience. Next, please, John.
Okay. Good.
And click one more. I know, John, you know we love you, but we had to use this picture. So what in the world is a cruise tour? John asks. Well,
Yes.
A cruise tour, in conjunction with a cruise, gives you a seamless vacation. So you have your cruise vacation where you're seeing the wonderful ports, and then you go into the interior, the land portion, where you really get a better understanding of the actual destination. Plus, you have the hotel accommodations, you have transportation from point A to point B, etc. And then click again, please. And then what is included in a cruise tour? So this is a great question. So you have your hotel overnights, as I mentioned. You have your transportation between point A and point B. Sightseeing is included in a lot of them. Expert tour guides, which I mentioned, have been with us for many, many years and really know what they're talking about. And then a lot of them have meal plans, or they have meals that are included on the cruise tour portion. And when I say meal plans, I'm talking about Alaska in particular. So the meal plans on that are amazing. So Princess handles all the details for you. So your guest gets on the ship, does the cruise tour, and they come home and they really have a well-rounded perspective on the destination. Next, please.
And I would just chime in and say what's also great about cruise tours, when you look at the end of the day, what did people think of the experience? The cruise tours are our highest rated overall experience. And it's because of the value that you get. You're seeing more of the destination you're going to. And if you think about when you're talking with your clients, it's okay if they can't afford it or they don't have the time or whatever reason they say no, but at least you're having the conversation with them. Because as I like to say, the last thing you want is your clients come back from a trip and you didn't talk to them about going on a cruise tour and they said, I ran into this couple and they had why didn't you tell us? That means you're probably not going to have them as a client for much longer. So at least talk to them and give them those options, I like to say. Okay.
Absolutely, absolutely. And as the former travel agent, John, I will add to that. So a lot of times you're booking a cruise and the guest says, well, I want to spend a couple of nights here or there before or after. And there's no need to reinvent the wheel and do that yourself. We have handled that. So definitely take a look at those. Yep. And where do we offer cruise tours? So we have Japan, Alaska, Europe, South America, Canada, New England, and Australia. So pretty much everywhere that we go. And then my question is, do you know where to find the information on OneSource? Next, please. So if you're on the OneSource homepage, you can see the red arrow there for sales and marketing. And then under destinations, you would click on the destinations tab. Next.
All right, my system's being finicky. There we go.
There we go. And then here's your destination marketing tools homepage. So for this particular one, we're going to go ahead and click on the Learn More for Europe. So next,
okay.
please.
Yep.
So as you move to the bottom of that page where you get down to the flyers and you click on where the red arrow is, the 2022 Europe reference flyer. Next.
Okay.
You move to the bottom of the reference flyer and you can see there it's the Ring of Kerry. So you can see a very basic information there about that tour. So you have, take my glasses off, you have Limerick, and then you have Cork, etc. And then below that, it talks about the actual cruises that you can combine with that cruise tour. Right. So let's say your client says, what am I going to be doing? I mean, I get that I'm staying here and doing that, but what am I going to be doing? So you go back to that area in the sales and marketing destinations, and you go to the red arrow there, which we have 2022 Europe Cruise Tour schedule with fares and amenities. So I'm going to be totally honest. As an agent, I never really looked at this, and this is an amazing tool. Next, please. So here's a perfect example. If you have someone that says, well, what exactly am I going to see? You saw the basics in the reference flyer, but here when you go into the fare and amenities, you have a much more detailed itinerary here. So you can see you have motor coach sightseeing Limerick to Killarney. You can see where it says meals, where you've got D for dinner, B for breakfast. So you can tell your client, look, you've got breakfast and dinner included mostly here. Lunch, you can do as you wish and enjoy some local food. Also, you see there where you have your motor coach sightseeing. At the bottom of that, you can see it has the 8-day Ireland and Scotland cruise, the 12-day British Isles, etc. So this tells you this particular land portion will combine with those cruises. So this is a huge tool that I wish I knew about years ago when I was an agent, because it is a wonderful, wonderful thing to have. Next, please. And this is what John was talking about, is why sell Princess Cruises? So cruise tours, excuse me. So it's the satisfaction. So as I mentioned earlier, and as John mentioned, you have everything handled. So your client knows they're getting on the plane, for example, flying to point A, they do their land tour, their cruise, depending on the order, and then at the end they fly home. You have taken care of all of it. Princess is taking care of everything. You're not looking for vouchers and doing all of these extra things. You are looking like a rock star to your clients. Not only are you getting the client satisfaction John talked about, because our cruise tours are so highly rated by guests, but you're also earning more commission. So you're not trying to find all these different hotels and all these sightseeing things for your client to do. We've done it all for you. So there's no need to reinvent the wheel when you go ahead and suggest a cruise tour.
That's great.
Next, please.
Can I throw in two questions that have come in real quick, just so we can stay on them before we get too far in? Geraldine is asking, are there cruise tours appropriate for my clients who might use a mobility scooter? I think the answer is a definite yes. We are catering to all clients, and just, I believe you can explain it better than me, Dana, that there might be just some clarity on the activity involved and walking and all that kind of stuff, but we definitely support that.
Yes, and a lot of times in the cruise tour description, you will see the little symbol for a wheelchair, for example, or some of the places will say, the ground is kind of rough. Like you go to some older towns in Europe and, they have the wonderful cobblestone, and that doesn't necessarily work for wheelchair and walker. So it does say specifically. You can also go into chat and ask that question, or reservations can also help you if you can't find it yourself.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then last question, Rich is asking, where does the client fly into, where and when, for an Alaska cruise tour?
Well, that's going to depend. There are several different options. If you want to do the land portion first, it really depends on the land portion that you choose. You would do the land, and then you would board the ship in Whittier and go down to Vancouver, or you do it the reverse. So again, I can't answer specifically because it depends on a cruise tour that you choose.
It could be, if you start the pre-cruise up in the cruise tour, you might fly to Fairbanks, you might fly to Anchorage. If you're going up first in the cruise, you're going to fly to Vancouver. So, Rich, it does absolutely depend, but those are typically where you're going to fly into for Alaska. And then Kathy's asking, where can I locate the Excel sheet you were just sharing? So that you had to go into one source, destination, marketing materials, and you were kind of getting into it, right? Yeah. Correct.
Yeah. And this is recorded. So if you have to go back and look at that, you can definitely follow it for sure.
Okay.
Now let's talk about commission, which is everybody's favorite.
So they don't want to get paid. There's no money needed. So let's just move on. All right.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. So if you look at the cruise only side there on the left, you have the 7-day voyage of the glaciers. You can see a balcony stateroom, and an example of the commission based on the 10% is $604, which is an awesome commission. If you look at the right-hand side, where you've done the 12-day Denali Explorer, you're still doing that Voyage of the Glaciers, but you've added the cruise tour there. Your commission is increased by over $300. not only are you going to get the client satisfaction, you're going to look like a rock star because they're going to see how beautiful the interior of Alaska is. And trust me, our cruise tours are amazing. You're going to make more money doing it. So always, always recommend an actual cruise tour.
If you think about it, it's basically a 50% increase in how much you're going to get paid commission-wise. And the same for your guests. I mean, they're roughly speaking, they're paying about 50% more to get that cruise tour experience. But trust me when I say their experience, their satisfaction, the value they get is at least 2 to 3 times what if you just did the cruise. So, and I say that to my friends and family. I'm not just giving you a sales pitch here. I truly mean it because of the value of you that you get from it. Our cruise tours covered under the COVID FCC policy. Yeah. So keep in mind that we're not offering cruise tours this year. Cruise tours are going to start, Alaska for next year. And so what we have not right now done, our Cruise with Confidence program extends for bookings to the end of this year for sailings through April of next year. So right now they are not part of it because we're expecting we're going to be through all this. But just as we've continued to modify our policies and the protections that we're giving your clients, if we feel the need that there is some uncertainty, hopefully not through next summer, then clearly we will make adjustments to our policy. But that's a good question. Okay,
perfect.
Let's move on. I love this.
I know. Well, John, I was hoping we could have a picture of you with Post-it notes all over, but we couldn't.
I thought that was me.
No, that's
not you. Okay.
So this is just, Selena and I wanted to have a little fun. So this is our reminder slide. So this is just say, hey, everybody pay attention. We're going to give you some reminders from our past webinars. So John, next.
Yep.
So Princess Academy. This is something that I tell everybody, every email I send out, every agency that I visit. This is so, so, so important. Go on here if you're not already a Commodore, do the courses. You can see the benefits there. You learn so much, especially for new agents. I think for new people to the industry, this really gives you a nice, well-rounded picture of Princess. So I can't recommend it enough. Next. And then, yay! So we have all refresher courses now available. I just took the last one, which is the Princess Answers Refresher. The second one is the Medallion Class and Dine My Way, which I highly recommend as well. And then Cruise with Confidence. So you have to complete these 3 to keep your Commodore status by the 14th of October. Also, I'm just going to throw this in there. So I know now a lot of people are still working from home. This is a great time to go on to the Academy and refresh yourself. And I say that because I just did it. I just went, you know what, I'm going to retake that course and just kind of refresh that in my head. So I'm periodically doing that just to make sure that I stay on top of everything. So just my 2 cents.
Yep.
Next, please.
Great advice. And thanks to Natasha and Richard behind the scenes for pushing these courses out and the refreshers during the past year. So we appreciate that work. And then, of course, Alaska Cruise Tour Alaska Expert.
So this is something I recommend to everybody as well. As I mentioned, if you have experienced one of our cruise tours, I did years ago as an agent with a different line. And then when I was hired by Princess, I went up and let me tell you the difference. Princess has it down. The lodges are amazing. The staff up there is incredible. The information that they know is just remarkable. And then you have the scenery. I'm just walking around up, the Denali Lodge or McKinley Lodge. I can't recommend it enough. It's well worth it. So these courses here give you more talking points and give you a really good roundabout to be able to tell your clients, look at this, look at that. There's wonderful pictures on there and videos. I highly recommend it as an add-on to the Academy.
Yeah, and hopefully you're a member of CLIA. Please support CLIA. They're such a great advocate for all of us. And if you take this course, as well as the sales expert training, you get a CLIA credit towards your ongoing certification status with CLIA. So just a little plug for our good friends at CLIA there.
Yeah. And then this I love. So chat is a wonderful feature that we have. So you can see there we have one source chat, which is for agency information, registration, and general information about adding or removing agents to the profile. And then you have Polar chat, which is going to be more for reservations. Now do keep in mind they can't handle really complicated things that need to be escalated. But for basic things like, hey, I needed a little extension. I need more time to make my payment. Or can you check on this FCC? I can't seem to find it. That is a great tool if you don't want to sit on hold. And I was a multitasker. So for me, I would be on the phone with one vendor and I would be doing something online with another. So as an agent, you guys know that you have to multitask and be able to juggle several things at once. So our chat feature is really, really good for that.
It avoids hold times when you call in, and the fact that 7 days a week, 6 a.m., 6 p.m. Pacific, just gives you that flexibility in case you have to do some work on the weekends or in those extended hours. Right?
Yes, thank you for that. 7 days a week is huge.
Yeah.
And then Princess Answers. So I'm just going to say this. I use this 3 or 4 times a day. I really try and find out stuff on my own before I have to reach out to someone to ask. So I really want to try and use the tools that we have so that I can talk to my travel advisors about it. So it says right on here that this is what your BDM uses. This is what customer relations uses when you call. It's a wonderful, wonderful tool. You can find visa requirements, a lot of COVID information on here, onboard amenities, information about ships, pretty much anything you need. Try here first. I highly recommend it. Like I said, 3 to 4 times a day, I am on here researching and finding information that I need.
Yeah, I think it's rare that if you call us and you haven't gone to Princess Answers first and you haven't tried chat, then I hate to say it, you're wasting a little bit of your time, because you could get this so quickly and make your life that much easier. And as you say, we're all multitaskers today. You kind of have to be. Thank you, Kevin. It really is that the suite of tools we're giving you to make you as efficient as possible. So.
And before we actually go live, let me just add one thing about answers. So I tested it out. I put in something that I wanted to find, and I guess I wasn't calling it the proper name, so it wasn't coming up. So I was on hold, and I put it in again. And before anybody could answer the phone, I was still on hold. I had exactly the information I needed. I could cut and paste it and send it right over. Awesome. So definitely give it a shot. Definitely give it a shot.
That's great. All right, Dana, great information. Thank you. Selena, is this going to happen? Are we going to go live?
I think so. I think so. I got a little scared for a minute.
So is not the answer I was looking for, but it's better than no. So let's give it a try. So
let's try it out.
I'm going to turn it over to you, Selena, and you're going to show your screen. Oh, woohoo! It worked.
Yay, it worked. Yes, yes. Let's see. So hello, everybody. Thanks for being here with us today. So I'm going to go through and just give you some a look at all of the different modifications and look at what you have at your fingertips in terms of managing, looking into Cruisetours on Polar Online. I did do a full overview on how to create a booking, where I went through and I gave a lot of details about all of the screens that you go on when you're creating a booking. I will again be going through some of those details, but just in the interest of time, I wanted to make sure that everybody knows that the full training that I did in May during our virtual Connect with Princess conference is available in the Princess Academy. If you need help on how to navigate there, please reach out to your BDM so we can send you the link to those videos. If you need an overview and just a basic start on how to make a booking, because I gave a lot of very intricate details, but this time I won't be going into necessarily that much detail. So we'll go ahead and get started, and I'll point some fun facts out about creating a cruise tour in Polar Online.
Lena, sorry to interrupt you real quick. I thought I thought you were kidding that we were going to do this, because I don't think you can book a cruise tour in Polar Online. I mean, cruise tours are complicated, and I just think you got to pick up the phone and do the booking over the phone. Am I wrong about that? Have I been saying the wrong thing all these years?
100%, John. Good question. Okay.
Okay, that's why I'm the boss. All right. Well, good. We're going to learn something today.
Yeah. So with that, I mean, I think cruise tours, just because there seems to be a lot of bits and pieces and different things you can modify and customize along the way, it seems overwhelming to try to do those things on your own, but it's not. So I'm going to hopefully simplify things for you so you can see how easy it really is. This is the landing page for Polar Online. Up at the top, don't forget this help button here if you have any questions on anything that you see on any of these pages. I'll go ahead and I'm going to start with create a booking. If you already have a booking made, whether it's a cruise or cruise tour, you can manage those bookings by clicking on the manage booking button next to create a booking. So I'm going to go ahead and get started by clicking on create a booking. So this is the sailing search. This is where you'll enter your client's member number. I have one saved because I've gone through this before for this presentation. So I'm going to go ahead and put in my client's captain circle number and click search. I see my clients here on my screen, and there's these little drop downs here next to each passenger's name. I'm going to select those who I'm booking now. So passenger 1 and passenger 2, and I'm going to select passengers. Okay. So after I select passenger, you'll see here to the right underneath search results where it shows my clients' member numbers there. I'm going to scroll down the screen and you'll see where it says cruise search to the left and then to the right cruise tour search. So I'm going to go ahead and put in a cruise tour search. My home city is Los Angeles. Air, I'm going to leave it at no for now. The date, I can be as knowledgeable as I can be on the specific date my clients want to go. Maybe I looked at those reference sheets that Dana showed you. But if not, I just know my clients want to go sometime in June. So I'm going to select June 1st. If I know the ship my clients want to go on, I can select that here, but it's not required because it's not in red. Only the red fields are the fields that you have to select something for or fill out that box next to it. The stateroom type, I'm going to go ahead and select mini suite. Once you get a client sailing in those mini suites, it's hard to get them away from that. So my clients want to stay in that mini suite. Occupancy to destination is required. So I'm going to be taking my clients to Alaska. So we've looked through the reference sheets. I've looked through and I can see that I know my clients want to go to CA3. That's the cruise tour. From that point, I've looked at my reference sheet that kind of helped my clients narrow it down. You don't have to use the reference sheets to narrow it down, but it's definitely helpful. So you don't have to go through all of it on the fly, but you can also. And again, I'm going to point out these little orange question marks or magnifying glasses. You can click on those if you have any questions or need more information on cruise tour numbers. You can click this question mark next to where it says cruise tour number, and a new screen will open where you can, it'll help you find those cruise tour numbers if you don't have it already. Okay, so I'm going to click on search. The next screen will be a layout of all of the voyages in June and on that are for that cruise tour CA3 that I had put in. So from the top to the bottom, it'll give me my stateroom type. I can change that if I'd like to a different category. Voyage selection, that's where you would end up clicking into one of those circles when you're ready to make your selection and proceed further. It'll also show you cruise tour number, departure date. So the departure date would be when your cruise tour starts.
Hey,
so
Selena,
yes.
Selena, I'm sorry to interrupt you. Can I suggest, as pretty as we three are, let's blow this out, Joe, if we can, to have the full screen, because there's a lot of detail here, and then we'll just talk behind the screen for right now. There you go. Perfect. Thank you.
Okay. So let's say cruise tour number and then departure date. So the departure date would be the first date of the cruise tour. So that's regardless if you do your cruise portion first or your land portion first. It'll give you the start date of the package that you're booking for your client. Okay. Next, it'll show you the nights and the direction. So this is the number of nights for your cruise tour. So our cruise is 7 days because it's our Voyage of the Glacier cruise that you pair with your land tour for Alaska. 10 nights. And then from there, it'll give whether it's northbound cruise or southbound. So these are all northbound cruises. Itinerary, if you want details on the cruise itinerary, you can click right there where it says cruise. I'm going to go ahead and just display what that looks like. So I clicked on that cruise button and it'll show you the just the cruise voyage summary when you arrive into a port, when the ship will leave, the dates, scenic cruising information. If you scroll down, it'll also show you evening attire, how many formal nights are on that cruise. If there's any emergency notification information that needs to be displayed at that point, it'll show there also. So I'm going to go back to the screen that I was just on, which is the sailing and availability by price. And I'm going to click on land because this is a great button that I hope everyone will get familiar with. So I'm looking at the tour itinerary now. So this will give you specific details on the land portion and higher level, an overview of the cruise. So it'll just show you when you're going to get on the ship, and how many days, the length. So it'll give you, there's the header at the top, itinerary day. So that's the day that you're at the port or at whatever part of your land package, the date, the length that you're there, departure times, arrival times. And these circles here, the orange magnifying glasses, when you click on those, it'll give you so many more details that I get questions about all the time. How do I find out how long my rail transfer is from Whittier to Denali? Just as an example, you can click on that magnifying glass. You'll get a new screen, which will give you a summary. So just a high level overview of that particular package that you just clicked on and you want more information on. But if you want specifics and drill down further, at the very bottom of the screen, you'll see where it says package details. When you click on that, it'll break it all down for you, which is fantastic. So it'll give you how long. So your travel time to Denali is approximately 9.5 hours. This train, it's the best part of my cruise tour for sure. So you can get all of those details and let your client know breakfast and lunch are available for purchase. So just all getting down to the details and getting your client all of the specific information that they want. This specific information is available during the booking process, but then also once your clients are already booked, you can also access your land package and get those specific details that I just showed you. So that's just one example, but you can drill down further and click on these magnifying glasses. And again, it'll give you those details that I just showed you. I go back now, and it'll then just to go down further, it'll give you the voyage number, the route.
Alina,
yes.
Sorry, Kathy is asking, can you state what XR means?
Yes, so XR, that's a really good question. So XR, it'll say whether it's closed to rollaways. They're fun codes that my brain keeps, I don't know why, but they're codes that basically will tell you whether it's closed to groups, closed to third or fourths, closed to rollaways. So some of our cabins that can accommodate 4 people, maybe even 3, I'd have to double check, but 4 for sure. Some cabins, you need a rollaway for that 4th person. So this XR means it's closed to rollaways, but because you may not want to remember those fun facts, you can also click on this question mark here in orange, and it'll give you those specific details on what those codes mean. Okay,
thank you.
So then it'll show you the route of the cruise, so Vancouver to Whittier, and then it'll show you if it's if we have group space available. So yes, you can take group space out for cruise tours, which is fantastic. So you can, work on those cruise tour TCs, and the full cruise tour fare goes into the TC. So that's definitely high value there. So it'll show you how many amenity points, and then the zones of the deck. So whether the cabins are aft, midship, mid-forward, whether those types of categories in mini suites are open. Okay, so it'll show open. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to select August 13th, 2022, save and continue. The next screen will show me availability by ship zone. So again, it'll just show the location on the deck, which those mini suites are available, the lead-in cruise fares per person, and also the promotion code. If I want more details and I want to look maybe based on categories instead of just ship zones, I can do that by scrolling to the bottom and clicking on search by category list. Here, I'll get 2 columns. You'll get the second column if you or your consortia has group space taken out for that specific cruise, or in this case, of course, cruise tours. Okay, so this here, it'll give you category, the status, if it's available or not, and the lead-in cruise fare per person, and promotion codes. If you have any questions on the specific categories, there's also a category description button at the very bottom of the screen. You can scroll down further just to get a full view of all of the categories and the availability and lead-in cruise fares. If you want to find adjacent cabins, you can search there for that also.
Selena, sorry, Selena, real quick. The pricing that you're just showing there, is that Princess Plus?
Good question. So if I'm not sure, I can go to the very bottom underneath where it says change fare quote, and under promo descriptions, it'll give you whatever promotion that's showing. So N9T, Fall Frenzy, Princess Plus, refundable deposit type promotion. Okay, if you have any questions on the promotion, or if you forget to scroll down further, you can always click to chat and ask a chat representative, a live chat representative, not a robot, and they'll be able to get you that information also. If you want to do any fare comparisons, you can click where it says fare comparisons. Voyage itinerary, view segments, land itinerary, if you want to look back at that breakdown of your land portion of your cruise tour. But I'm going to go ahead and scroll up and keep it moving, and I'm going to look at this MB mini suite. Want to point out here that our Fall Frenzy promotion has a lead-in cruise fare for that MB at $3,728 a person, but my group fare has a lead-in cruise fare of $3,679 a person. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to select the group pricing. And just a fun tip is that all of our group fares, our standard group fares, now include the Princess Plus amenities. So it'll show you on the next screen that I'm going to get to. I'm going to save and continue and proceed. It will end up breaking it down where it'll show you that it includes those Princess Plus amenities, which is the crew incentive, Wi-Fi, and the premier beverage package. So I've hit save and continue. I'm moving forward. You can look at the passenger details, whether you want the Princess Vacation Protection or if you'd like to upgrade it to Platinum, which we always recommend. It'll show you those promotion codes. Again, if you have questions on any of that, you can click to chat. And just to go further down for passenger pricing. So it'll give you a per person breakdown. Going down further where it says mods, I get this question a lot. When you're booking a cruise tour, your transfers, so from the airport, just as an example, to the ship, or from the end of your land tour, your transfer from that lodge, for example, or hotel to the airport, it'll show under mods. So those are transfers, okay? It's just different, keep it interesting. But if you're not sure of what that mods means, if you forget what I'm saying, click to chat and they can tell you what that means. To scroll down further, it'll give you the per person breakdown, onboard credit, payment information, etc. If you want to print this, if you want to send it to your client, just the quote, you can do so at the top of the screen here. You can email it to them, or you can print out the quote and hand it to them if they're maybe sitting with you. If you want to look at the voyage itinerary again, or look at travel packages, I'm going to show you travel packages to show you some areas where you can customize and modify things during the initial booking process, because you can't do what I'm about to show you yourself once your booking's already made. You can click to chat to assist you with some of these things I'm about to show you. Some of them, unfortunately, you do have to call in on, but always first check with click to chat, because many things they can assist you with. I'm going to show you first at the Denali Lodge, Denali Princess Wilderness Lodge, duration for 2 days. Right here where it says underneath where it says room occupancy, you'll see where it says double and a little arrow. If you click on the arrow, it'll expand. If you have clients that are maybe fine with sharing their cabin during their cruise, but let's say they want separate rooms at the lodge, you can set that up yourself during the booking process. So passenger 1 would have the first room. Let's say passenger 2 wants a breather in their own room during the lodge, and you can click in the circle where it says second room. Okay, so now during this, your price will adjust, because for those specific lodges, that the lodge portion themselves, it'll update to a single price for their individual rooms, because in this case, they will have their first room and then the second room for passenger number 2. Okay. If I want to make that change, I just click submit and it'll update. And I know it's been updated because it says right here at the top of my screen in orange, record updated. Okay. I can update it the same way for the Fairbanks Hotel by clicking that arrow. I'm going to go ahead and just leave it though. And I'm going to go ahead and click back. Actually, no, first, let me show you the package list. So the package list, this is where you can go if you want to add a pre or post hotel package to extend their stay. In this case, I also want to point out that you can add meal plans here. You can add a meal plan. Right here, it'll say CA3 meal plan. It'll give you the total price. So total for 2 people, it's $618. If you want to get the per person price for the hotel or the meal plan, you click at the bottom where it says individual pricing. I'm going to go ahead and I am going to select it. I'm going to go ahead and add it. You can select whether you want it for both people or just one. So if you just want it for maybe passenger 1, you would uncheck underneath where it says passenger 2. Okay. Once you've clicked add right here in this, you put a check there in that square next to the meal plan line, and you can click submit. And your package will now be updated. So it'll update here on your overview of your land package. Basically, it'll show you that just passenger 1 has that meal plan. It'll break down what that meal plan includes. I could have clicked on that little magnifying glass, the package list page that I was just on, and it would have broken down what it included. So you can see that before you actually add it. Okay. Skip the
Selena?
step. Yes.
Selena, so just to interject, just sorry for interrupting, but
No.
again, the meal plan that we were talking about earlier is another thing to add to the cruise tour where you're going to have client satisfaction. They're going to have their meals included on the land portion, and that meal plan is 5% commissionable to the travel agency. So again, you're earning more commission by adding that meal plan in Alaska.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And you can see here it updated my lodge to 2 singles, and then Fairbanks it left it as a double because I didn't modify that. I'm going to go ahead and click back. You'll see that the transfer and packages has been updated. So this is that meal plan that I had added. Mods updated, if you could see it increase, because that's also where the increase in cost will show if I'm taking, if I'm modifying the lodge at all. For example, like I have a single lodge in the Denali Princess Wilderness Lodge package. Okay, so I'm going to go forward and hit save and continue. This is where it'll give you an overview of what your group promotion or whatever promotion that you're booking is including. So once you've read over that important notice, please always read that through. It'll show you here whether the promotion you're booking has like a non-refundable deposit or anything like that, but also selling points that you may want to point out to your client and what that promotion includes. I'm going to save and continue quickly, and this will give you an upsell possibility if you want to tell your client about how much they can pay to go up to the higher category. Here, you'll see where you can select your cabin. If you want to look at a full cabin list, this will only show you some. At the very bottom of the screen, you can click cabin list and it'll display all the cabins we have available in that category. If you need an accessible cabin, you can go ahead and click this this arrow and it'll show you whether you need fully accessible, etc. Requesting a cabin, if you know the specific cabin you want to book, you can select that too. I'm going to go ahead and just make them in a guarantee, save and continue. And the next screen you'll see was where you can just further modify it. You'll put in the passenger's name. You can change their Princess Vacation protection there, change it to whether you want upgrade or no upgrade. Here you can also modify whether you want a queen bed during your land package in the lodges, and then the ship bed. So how you want the bed set up in your cabin on board the ship, and then whether you have hotel smoking, yes or no, which is interesting. I didn't know that. So I even learned something new sometime.
That's interesting.
Yeah. So I was going to say, I wonder if that needs to be looked into.
Yeah.
Actually.
Hey, Selena, a question came in about, and I think I don't think you have to go back there, but there was a question about how you delete something like a transfer in terms of the modification. I think that was just where you select or unselect, right, for passenger 1 and 2.
Exactly. So on the package, the land itinerary that I was at, you would just unselect it and then save your modifications and continue.
Yeah, hopefully that makes sense, Cheryl.
So and then Selena?
Yes.
I just had one of my accounts actually send me a question on my phone. So I'll just ask you because I know the answer, but I think it's good to mention. So when you're changing the rooms for the land portion to single, you can only do that in the initial booking process, but that does not mean that later you can't call and change it, correct?
Exactly. So if you have any additional modifications where you need to change that setup at any point, you can. For those specific modifications, you do have to call in because we have to involve a different department that can't be accessed through click to chat. But you get directly, you'll be speaking to our cruise tour reservation agent and they'll be able to assist you in modifying further. A good point is if you have maybe parents cross-reference with their children during the cruise portion, maybe they want separate cabins, but when the family is on their land package, maybe all of them want to share the lodge rooms, and so they don't have to have double rates for the lodge pricing, if that makes sense. You can actually call in to modify further, so all 4 people are sharing the lodge room, and then they'll have separate rooms for their cruise. It's good to just point out that these packages can be modified into something that's helpful for your client so that they can get what they want, what they need during the land portion, as well as their cruise portion.
Selena, good question. And I know we're running a little late on time, but I do want to throw a couple questions in. Melanie's asking, if two people are on a cruise tour together, can one book a connoisseur tour and the other one not?
So if they're booking different cruise tours, if it's a connoisseur tour, it works differently. So they may not match up during all of their portions of their land package, if that makes sense. So good question. That one would be a bit complicated. You'd have to try to find two packages that were at least going to be in the same lodges at the same time so that they can connect when they're at the lodges themselves. But with the connoisseur, there's different things like some tours that might not be included in on your own, for example, land package. So it may not always be able to be coordinated, but we can try to find packages that
maybe
can
the two people don't actually like each other, in which case it's going to be perfect.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so I booked it, so it's booked, and if you want to modify further, you just click here at the bottom where it says travel packages or voyage itinerary, and you can modify further or click to chat for assistance with any of that.
Right. And then Colleen is asking about air. Oh, this is a good one. Let's leave it up there. Janetta is asking, is it possible to upgrade from the Natural History Tour to the Tundra Wilderness Tour during the booking process?
Fantastic question. So that's very, very popular, that clients end up wanting to upgrade to the Tundra Wilderness Tour because you see more of Denali. You can upgrade, but you unfortunately cannot make that modification yourself on Polar Online because it is a bit more involved in it. It requires our land team to help you with that, but our click to chat representatives can easily get that done for you.
Awesome. Great. And then there was a question about Easy Air, whether that has to be paid at the time of the booking. But if you're booking Flex Air, I think it's 45 days out you have to pay?
I believe it's when you make your final payment.
Oh, when final payment. That's true. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Okay, we've only got a couple minutes. I apologize, it's running late. But this is awesome. I've learned a lot. I have been, even though you're not seeing me, I am focused on your screen. How much more do you have to go, Lena?
And it's not that hard. It's not that hard to book a cruise tour.
No, it's not.
As I said, you can easily book cruise tours using Polar Online. I said that at the very beginning. Clear as mud.
Yes. So just here, just the same thing. So it's the same kind of screen. Just to remember, when you want to further modify, go to your travel packages screen, because that's when, after your client's booked, if maybe you hadn't added that meal plan during the booking process, but they now want it, or you want the details on it to give to them, you can click on travel packages, and you'll be able to access that meal plan and look at the different package lists and view package pricing. So just further modify once the client's already booked by clicking on travel packages at the bottom of your screen.
Okay. Wow, Kevin, great. Yeah, I thought I knew Polar. Well, I don't know Polar, Kevin, but you do. But this was great, and it really was. And it's clear that we've thought of so many of these permutations that go into any sort of complicated booking like this. But actually, it's complicated, but it isn't. It's so simple. It's laid out. Great explanation. So thank you so much, Selena and Dana, of course. So with that, I moved ahead of the presentation. We're skipping over some slides. I do want to say, Selena mentioned earlier that we have all of these webinars we've been doing hosted on onesourcecruises.com. So if you missed an earlier one, everything about making a booking poll, refaring, what have you, in this presentation, you're going to be able to see that at One Source, so you can go back and watch it again. We did have some questions submitted in advance, so let's cover those real quick. First one up, can I create groups on cruise tours? So yeah,
yes.
That.
And we recommend it.
Yes. Simple answer to your question. Can you book a group into a cruise tour? I think you did that as well, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Yep, absolutely. We showed how you do that. What is the best way to maximize a TC when you have a cruise only and cruise tour on the same cruise?
So what I recommend is if you have clients that are booking a cruise and a cruise tour, it's to set up groups if you can for both, because if you're not able to set up a group on the cruise tour, you will be able to still count those cruise tour bookings towards the TC on your cruise only group. Okay, but the important thing is if you do it that way, your full cruise tour cruise fare won't go towards the math when we figure out the TC, because it's just based off your cruise only portion. But if you have a cruise tour group set up and you end up booking enough cruise tour bookings to qualify for that cruise tour TC, the full cruise tour fare is used to find out what that TC is. Yeah.
That's great. Thank you. How do you send your Alaska cruise tour bookings to groups when you have a cruise group?
It's a good question. So with that, you can call in our group department, because the group department will have to note the group contract of your cruise tour booking numbers, so that when the group is finalized about 14 to 10 days before sailing, they can manually add in those group amenities. Or you can also email the group department as well, which is princessgroupsupport@princesscruises.com. Give them the booking numbers and the group number that you want those cruise tour booking numbers to be noted on the
Princess Group Support at Princess Cruise. Did we not have a longer email address?
I'm sure we can make it longer.
Email account for Princess Group Support. I mean, geez. Okay. So let's do the survey at the end here. We want to see what we all learned. I wish I could take the survey because I am no longer deer in the headlights. So let's see what you all think. In Facebook, you're going to get the survey prompt to just let us know. What do you think? Are you an expert? Are you the genius? Are you solid grasp, deer in the headlights? And if I remembered, it was like 4, 42, 42, 16 or something like that. Close to that. So, yeah, that was the original. Yep. Thank you for that, Joe. So let's just give it a chance. And I do want to say, Selena and Dana, thank you so much. You are so passionate about what you do and so knowledgeable, and just always love having these conversations with you because I'm learning something. And that's always good. Hey, every day you should learn something new, right?
Yeah.
And Geraldine is saying, thanks so much for continuing these webinars. Great presentation. Yeah, this is for those people out there, you're spending the time, and you may watch the recording. So no worries if you couldn't join us live. We hope you find these valuable. Here's a question. If I have a cruise book, can I convert the booking to a cruise tour? Can you upgrade it to a cruise tour, basically?
You have to have the booking remade. So your cruise booking would have to be canceled, and then we would have to make you a brand new cruise tour booking. But we can work with you to make sure, you get the same cabin, etc. Click to chat. They can assist you with most of it. But if you have air and it gets a bit more complicated, then you may need to call in. But yes, you can.
Yep. Awesome. If a client decides to change cruise tours, can it be done without canceling and rebooking?
No, unfortunately, if it's a new cruise tour, you have to cancel and rebook.
Start over again. Yeah.
But it can be done.
Okay. Can I add air and a meal plan on Polar Online? I think we showed that ability to do that.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Good stuff. And then, is that the last of the questions? Okay, so hopefully let's see their survey results here. Show us what we learned. Hopefully we have some good response to that. Drum roll, please. I'm just happy this thing worked, that we actually could show it, because that would have been a really lame presentation without going live, Helene. I got to be honest with you.
Right?
All right. We
Oh,
got 20%
nice.
Our genius,
Nice,
61% solid grass, 17% very basic, 2% deer in the headlights.
Nice.
So those 2%, folks, I'm with you, but I'm going to say I'm in the basic category. I really think I learned enough that I could be dangerous if somebody, they'll never give me access to Polar Online. I don't know what to do. But anyway, thank you, Selena. Thank you, Dana. I really appreciate it. Thank you, everybody, for joining in. Hope you learned something today. And as always, we appreciate, thank you, Sherry and Kathy. We appreciate your support of Princess. And we are so looking forward to welcoming you on board one of our ships and your clients, of course. So stay positive, stay healthy, and we'll see you all very soon. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you, Pat. Appreciate it. Bye-bye.
Thank you.